Okay, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about dehydration. So first, to start out with, a few things that can cause dehydration in cats. Maybe if they're not eating or drinking well, either if they're vomiting or if they're having diarrhea or another medical issue that can cause dehydration. So it's important for your foster to make sure that your cat's not dehydrated, and if it is, then you may need to give subcutaneous fluid. So we're going to go ahead and show exactly how you would check first to see if your cat's dehydrated. So first, we have Rocky here as a demo. The first main thing you might want to try is checking to see if their skin is elastic or not, and that'll show if it's dehydrated. So first thing you do is you pull the skin up like in a tent right behind their shoulder blades, and if it pops back down like that, that shows that they're hydrated. So Rocky obviously is fairly hydrated right now, but if I pulled up the skin and it stayed up in like a tent, just like this, then that would show that he may be dehydrated. And then another way you can show is if his eyes are looking a little sunken in or if his gums are pale. Those are two other ways. So if your cat is dehydrated and you're seeing signs of dehydration or any other medical issues, we have a couple ways of giving fluids. So to start out with, we have bag fluid here that comes in a bag. So you can either give it directly through the bag, and you may be instructed several different ways. There's an IV line attached to the bag, and then we have a needle on the end, and this would go underneath the skin, and then you'd pump a certain amount into them. And then the other way we may show you is by using either a syringe, which we have some that are already pre-filled, or there are some that you may have to fill yourself. And depending on how much you need to give will be dependent on the medical team. So always check in first with the medical team to see how much exactly you should be giving your foster. So we'll go ahead and show exactly how we'll give Rocky just a few little bits of fluids, just so you can see exactly how we do it. So we'll start with one of the pre-filled syringes here. This is just 10 mLs of saline. So there's a syringe here. We'll take the cap off. And then a lot of times you'll probably use a butterfly catheter, which comes in a little packet like this. You open it up. And then there's a little, sort of, you want to get closer here. We have a little line that connects into a needle. And we'll take the cap off of that. And then we'll attach it directly onto the syringe. And then we'll take the needle off, or the cap off the needle. He's giving me a few growls. So what you do with this is you're going to put it right underneath the shoulder blades here. You'll pick up the skin, kind of like we were doing before, making a tent, and then you'll go right underneath. And you want to push it in all the way. And then what you'll do with the syringe, you'll want to go slowly and just kind of push in and make sure that he's getting fluids. And you'll start to feel a little bit of a bubble here. A couple things you'll want to note. Sometimes they don't really like this, as you'll see with him. He's kind of moving around a little bit. Other things, if you see it start to leak out, you may need to readjust the needle. So either pulling it back out or pushing it back in. And once you get all of the fluid in there, then you'll want to take out, you want to hold right at the base and pinch right where the needle was, so none of the fluid comes back out. And then you pull the needle out, and you'll just kind of keep the skin pinched to kind of seal up where the skin was from the hole. And that's pretty much all you'll need to do as far as giving fluids goes for an adult cat or a kitten. But we'll show the same thing on a kitten here. I'll put Rocky down for just a second. So same thing goes with a kitten. Yeah, a lot of times we'll use a butterfly catheter just like we did with this. But just in case you needed to also see with the bagged fluid, we'll also show you, this probably wouldn't be necessarily used for a kitten because this is for larger volumes, but you'll see on the bag here there's different lines where the fluid is, and so right now it's at 3. If you wanted to give, say, 100 mils of sub-Q fluids, we'll go down to where the bag says 4. And what we would do is we do the same thing. We'll take the needle at the end here, push it in, and then once the needle is in, there's a little hook on the line here that opens up. You'll twist that all the way to the end here. We'll open it just for a second. And then once that's open, that'll start releasing fluids in there. And once the line gets down to 4, you have 100 mils of sub-Q fluids in there. So So I think that pretty much covers, for the most part, giving fluids to your cat. So if you have any other questions about that, contact the medical team.